without the ability to put on concerts for fans, musicians and artists have increasingly leaned on streaming, which hasn't brought in all that much money for artists once record labels and platforms take their cut. But what if artists were able to go directly to Apple Music and others while keeping the masters of their songs themselves? That's the premise behind UnitedMasters, a distribution platform startup that just raised a $50 million Series B funding round led by Apple, a rare investment from the tech giant, with follow-on investment coming from Alphabet and Andreessen Horowitz as well. And join us now for more on that is former Sony Music and Interscope exec turned UnitedMasters founder and CEO, Steve Stoute, joining us right now. Steve, congrats on the funding round. Big to get Apple on board. But you're really focused on independent artists and catching on and growing their fan base. And I think of Lil Nas X as an example when Old Town Road blew up on TikTok and the route he went to sign with a big label. But you guys present a different route for artists to go for maybe the next Lil Nas X. So talk to me about how it works.
So first of all, thank you for having me. Look, what we believe is that artists should have the option. I mean, they put the time in to make incredible work and invest in themselves. And either you should, if you want to, sign with a legacy label, which is the option that was always available for the last 50 years if you were lucky enough, or now you can sign to UnitedMasters or partner with UnitedMasters and we distribute your music for you. You can upload the music right from your phone anywhere you are in the world, put out the song, and we'll distribute it to all of the DSPs, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music. And then the artist gets either 90% of the revenue and we get a 10% fee, or they can pay $5 a month and keep 100% of the revenue. But the thing that's very, very important is that the artist owns their rights. They own their IP. This is not a situation that when you sign something, just when you take the money, you also give away your rights, which is what legacy labels have done historically since the inception of recorded music.
Steve, it's good to talk to you. We know Apple doesn't just back any company. You're talking about a $15 million investment round led by Apple. What potential partnerships do you see here? Because in many ways, some would argue that Apple's been taking a lot of money away from the artists.
Well, I don't know who could make that argument. Apple pays whoever, if the artists are signed to record companies, and if the money is not flowing through to the artist that's coming from Apple, I mean, you got to look at the record company, who's the person that's in the middle and already has a deal cut with the artist. So I don't know who would make that argument. What I can tell you is Apple, and why we partnered, is because they believe in the creator. They have a culture of believing in creators, inventors, and artists. And that's the reason why I thought it was the greatest partner in the world, quite frankly. It was Eddie Q's and I's discussion over the last 2 years on how we could help level the playing field, so that if you're signed to an independent, doesn't mean that you have less than someone who's signed to a major label, which is the stigma with being independent, that you don't get the same opportunities. We are proving with this partnership, our intent is to let great artists know that if you choose the option of going independent, you still have those same opportunities.
Yeah, because it seems like, obvious the upside's obvious in maintaining your masters and keeping the cut there versus going with a record label. But I guess there is that kind of cachet that would come with it too, and the branding around it. But you guys also have a piece of that in the business here in UnitedMasters built around that. So talk to me about how maybe the trade-offs exist between what you were just touching on, going independent versus the big labels, and the way that you grow the artists that are on your platform.
Those trade-offs have changed dramatically. You talk about back in the day when record companies had to make vinyl and CDs and they had a monopoly on promoting your songs at radio. These things have changed dramatically, where the new MTV is an artist's social media. What you do on Instagram and TikTok is as impactful as MTV was back in its heyday. And, Apple Music is the new radio/music store. And that relationship doesn't need a record company per se in its older format in the middle. What the artists need right now is a distribution partner. They need to maintain their rights, and they need to have a technology advantage, an edge. So when we start talking about NFTs and blockchain and all that stuff is fantastic for the owner of the copyright, right? So like if you own a copyright, you can sell an NFT. You can actually start to create opportunities for your copyright and use technology to unlock value. Whereas before, if you didn't have ownership of that right, then you could hear NFTs all day. It wasn't like you could do anything about that with your music because you don't own it. The record company did.
So, I mean, if it really is about ownership of artists, and to your point, the ability to control all of that, I mean, it seems like NFTs are kind of the ultimate way to control ownership and be able to monetize things for artists. We've already seen some bands, some artists that have already come forward with an album issued on NFTs. Is that where things are going?
Well, I think NFTs and anything that unlocks technology to unlock the future of growth. It's NFTs now. We don't know what it's going to be going forward, but we do know that the only way to capitalize on the opportunities that go forward is if an artist is signed or part of a technology that can help them unearth those opportunities, and they actually own the rights to do it. So yeah, with an NFT, it enables the owner to put terms and conditions around their master, and everything else that's replicated is a duplicate. That's fantastic because it increases the value of the master. But when you sign that away early in your career as an artist and you have no chance to take place and to take part in those opportunities, it certainly is not a good feeling to know that, if you only knew better back then, you would do something better now. And having this option to democratize ownership and level the playing field is why I partner with Apple. And UnitedMasters, we've always said from day one, we are a record company in your pocket. You can go in your pocket, you can get, where you are financially, you can promote your music, you can distribute your music, and we're adding more and more features to help keep up with where technology is going and what should be afforded to the next generation modern day artists.
UnitedMasters founder and CEO, Steve Stoute. It's good to talk to you today. Appreciate your time.